The ancient Indians held a radically different idea. They believed that the brain in its current state was insufficient to understand consciousness and that it needed to be upgraded, that it needed to be in touch with, let's say, a higher dimension of consciousness that could directly perceive consciousness itself and the relationship between consciousness and the body. The mechanism that they referred to that was responsible for this upgrading of the brain was Kundalini. And we interpret Kundalini as being a universal biological mechanism found in everyone. The purpose of this mechanism is to upgrade the brain. So when we talk about Kundalini research, we're talking about the investigation of a universal biological phenomenon that perhaps is at the root of all religious disciplines, of all religious and spiritual practices, and that is working in every one of us to upgrade our mental hardware to the point where we can perceive consciousness directly. So that's the work of the Emerging Sciences Foundation in a nutshell. The Kundalini Experimental Project is a crowdsourced global research project designed to collect information and data from individuals about Kundalini. Currently, we're collecting survey data, and we're also now in the process of beginning to collect blood data in the form of metabolomic data. So the Kundalini Experimental Project, there are a couple of different phases. The first phase is designed to simply gather data and understand what the phenomenon of Kundalini looks like on a broad scale. Are there particular symptoms that define a Kundalini awakening? Are there particular symptoms and characteristics, behaviors and lifestyles that might help predict a Kundalini awakening? And if so, can we create a model or a set of models or a system to advise people on the best way to awaken Kundalini given their particular makeup, their particular lifestyle, in a way that is data-driven and science-based? I believe that this is precisely the same methodology, the same method that ancient cultures used to study Kundalini. They first gathered data on the subject, came to some sort of conclusion or hypothesis around Kundalini, and then put it to practice. And we'd like to replicate that process, but now using the internet, social media, metabolomics analysis, all the modern tools that we have available. Metabolomics involves the collection of blood and having that blood analyzed for various compounds. In a standard metabolomics test, you can have anywhere from a few hundred to, let's say, thousands of compounds analyzed in the blood. And the idea there is to find chemical markers of certain activities that are happening within the body. We expect in metabolomics analysis to discover certain clues or indicators of a Kundalini awakening. So if you compare the blood of someone who is not Kundalini active versus the blood of someone who is Kundalini active, we're expecting to find differences in the blood that we can identify and use for further research. One of the underlying principles of the Emerging Sciences Foundation is that we believe knowledge of Kundalini and Kundalini research should be open and free to the greatest extent possible. So the way that we're collecting data is done on a free basis. It's open to the public. It's literally open to everybody in the world who has an internet connection. The findings from that research we're planning to deliver, again, for free back to the public in the form of a recommendations engine built into the Kundalini Experimental Project. In addition, our research and any research papers that we create from the Kundalini Experimental Project will also be made available for free for the public.